So I think it's safe to say that Learning with Pibby Apocalypse is going to be picked up as a full-length series in the near future. In under a week, the short has amassed over 2.5 million views and climbing, despite getting age-restricted at the 1 million mark. It's impressive how fast this concept has caught on. People really love their childhood getting creepypasted, I guess. With so many cartoon properties involved in this fake trailer, you really can't help but to wonder which shows will make the cut, whether or not they were present here. While I was thrilled to see shows like Ed, Edd and Eddy, Adventure Time, and Scooby freaking Doo get represented on something that's now gone viral, there are other shows out there that just make sense to have pop up in the series proper. Like, yeah, Flintstones is cool, but whatever happened to my boy Robot Jones? That's exactly what I'm here to daydream about today. I have a list of 10 Cartoon Network shows that I think deserve to be ensnared in this multiverse level apocalypse. Not just as a scary one-off cameo, but dedicated episodes and moments that incorporate a show's gimmick into the story at hand. Pibby and the gang are traveling to different worlds. That's a whole bunch of wacky lore to play with. You're going to see a few of these picks coming, especially if they're in the thumbnail, but I think some may catch you by surprise. Before we dive in though, I just wanted to thank you guys for all the support on Shane's Pibby video, and to kindly ask y'all to subscribe to the Roundtable if you haven't already, so my grandma will look me in the eyes again. Gumball was already featured in the Pibby trailer for a split second, yet this show feels like the best place to kick things off. It's no secret that Gumball's full of meta humor and NASA internet culture, making it a perfect fit for Pibby's spin on dark and gritty reimaginings of beloved childhood properties. As Shane mentioned over on his video, the character biographies for Pibby's voice acting auditions seem to indicate that the show is meta commentary on the edgy shit people make online about harmless cartoons. And oh, do we love the edge. At the end of the pilot, Bun Bun is consumed by evil and is the embodiment of the darkness that is attacking the cartoon world. His distorted voice spews out internet slang and nastiness to antagonize Pibby. I mean, that straight up reads like a one-off Gumball character. Gumball is a show known to be a visual delight, mixing so many mediums together, so an episode of Pibby set in Elmore could lead to a lot of insane visuals. And things like corrupted Nicole hunting Pibby and her friends down truly writes itself. A lot of people have already been hoping for Gumball's world to play a bigger role in the story due to the similarities between the darkness and the void. I mean, one's a pocket dimension full of TV static, erasing things it deems as a mistake, including all of Elmore. And the other is a mysterious dark entity full of TV static that consumes the entire Cartoon Network multiverse, corrupting everyone we know and love into DeviantArt zombies. With the new Gumball movie and animated series on the way, it'd be dope if they actually did manage to tie these two things together, especially as Gumball has always had an all-ages fan base, and a lot of its original viewers are adults now anyway. The fake credits in the Pibby trailer look like Gumball's already, so we're already halfway there. Maybe Pibby will pop up in the Gumball movie, hidden somewhere in the void. That'd be a fun little cameo. Much like what I said with Gumball, the concept of Pibby feels like something that would fit right in with the madness and mayhem that is Regular Show. I mean, the darkness already sounds like something Mordecai and Ribby would have unleashed after taking a cursed TV from a junkyard because they couldn't afford a new one. If they wanted to embrace the content of Adult Swim's heyday and actually use these characters as, well, characters, and not just mindless props, I could easily see characters like Skips and High Five go surviving the darkness when they encounter Pibby and friends. Skips serving as a guru of sorts, possessing knowledge on how to defeat the darkness and turning everyone back to normal. Face it, if any Cartoon Network character had that information, it would be Skips. If they wanted to really immerse themselves with the logic of each cartoon world, or lack thereof, perhaps the darkness would be stronger in the Regular Show universe, as it's already prone to cataclysmic events on a daily basis. Alternatively, Pibby and friends could utilize objects like the power keyboard to get an edge over the darkness, permitting the batteries won't die. With Pibby herself created as a preschool protagonist, I imagine she'd be all about the power of friendship and how it can conquer anything. So naturally, Mordecai and Ribby can play off of that as two best friends who have nearly killed each other numerous times. Well, Mordecai actually succeeded twice, but you know, I could easily see one of the two already being corrupted, Pibby encouraging the other to get through to them with happy memories, mistakenly guiding them to their demise in the process. Whoops! We all know Chowder is the fourth wall breaking king. No show has even come close, homie. Marzipan City would make for a perfect pit stop in Pibby. Try saying that 3 times fast. Perfect pissed up and Pibby. Perfect pissed up and Pibby. I already messed up. Not only could there be some very cool art direction with the darkness influencing the still patterns on a character's clothing, but imagine Pibby and crew using the fourth wall breaks to combat the darkness. Using transitions, even using CH Greenblatt himself to pull the rug under the antagonist and buy themselves time to escape. But imagine the darkness overtaking CH Greenblatt, having full control over a show's creator who's able to affect the reality around them at will? Yeah, that sounds nearly unstoppable. Chowder is able to change the world around him solely using his brain power. The sky's the limit here. Bring back that boom chaka chaka abomination as a threat. I'd shit my pants all over again. I'm gonna cut straight to the chase. There's only one reason I want Ben 10 and Pibby, and it's for the Omnitrix. There's really 2 ways they could go with this. Either Pibby gets the Omnitrix, or the darkness corrupts Ben and thus has control of the Omnitrix. It'd be kinda cute seeing Pibby trying to get the hang of all of Ben's aliens, taking on alternate forms similar to the Gwen 10 episode. Could Pibby use Upgrade to withstand the darkness? But if the darkness had the Omnitrix, edgy, corrupted versions of the aliens would be wicked. Ghost Freak already turned out to be terrifying, but give him a dash of Slender Man, and you got something that would manage to give a 24-year-old nightmares. It seems like learning what it means to be a hero is a theme that'll be tackled in Pibby, or parodied, depending on the direction they take with the tone. So including a show like Ben 10 seems like a no-brainer. He's someone who already had his coming-of-age story, understanding what it takes to be a true hero. An interaction between those two is something I'd love to see. Plus, we could have corrupted versions of the villain's attack, like Vilgax. Tell me that wouldn't be metal as fuck. Depending on how old you are, you may or may not be familiar with OKKO, but believe me when I say it fit right in with what Pibby's going for. As is the case with Ben 10, OKKO has a big focus on what it means to be a hero. The show takes place in the strip mall for superheroes Lakewood Plaza Turbo. Pibby and crew venturing here in hopes of recruiting other heroes just makes sense. OKKO was revered by its fans for the insane amount of crossovers it fit in over 3 seasons. From Captain Planet, to Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, to Sonic the Hedgehog, to the entirety of Cartoon Network circa 2018. That's right, it already did the Cartoon Apocalypse angle. With Pibby being pitched as a crossover show, OKKO deserves a spotlight with it sort of being a spiritual predecessor. Plus, I just really want to see the series get attention. Do I really need to say anything here? Flapjack is creepy. We all remember those mind-scarring close-ups, the show's habit of switching mediums when you least expect it, and just generally horrifying characters. Imagine Flapjack's laugh, but all corrupted? Sheesh. Stormalong Harbor is the exact kind of dystopian city that would crumble at the sight of an apocalypse. The darkness spreading like it's the 5th plague they've had this week. Every man for himself. Candy being elevated to the status of most valuable resource. Screw it, I'm just gonna pitch this episode for all of you. Peppermint Larry is one of the few survivors left, begging Pibby to save Candy Wife, who's stranded and surrounded by the darkness on the other side of the city. And the kicker? All of the intense claymation Flapjack's known for would be done by special guest talent, Jack Stauber. I'll take my check, Adult Swim. No, I'm kidding. If anything, Jack Stauber would be the one who gets a check, but please do something like this. I won't sue or whatever. I just want to see quality animated television. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends would be one of the more interesting picks that I want to see for Pibby. Would imaginary friends be immune to the darkness on account of not qualifying as quote-unquote real living beings? Would Pibby blend in as an imaginary friend? Could Pibby and company be capable of making imaginary friends? I don't know if there's an exact limit on who can create them, given that Terrence was able to make an imaginary slice of pizza that he proceeded to traumatize in its very short life. Imagine Coco constantly laying eggs in mass destruction in order to combat against the darkness. And if imaginary friends can get corrupted, what the heck would dark cocoa eggs look like? What about the imaginary friend that's just a giant world contained inside a toy chest? Can we get an episode just set in there as the friend itself is corrupted? The potential they could do with Foster's as a setting is just bananas. And they shouldn't pass it up. Infinity Train is another show some of you may not have seen, but trust me when I say it is one of the greatest Cartoon Network properties of all time, and it deserves another chance as it got cancelled in the middle of its planned overarching story. Hey Shafrillas, where's that Infinity Train review, homie? You know you teased it in the Owl House video. If you have HBO Max, you definitely should give Infinity Train a watch, especially if you want to see how dark the studio can truly get. The Infinity Train itself is exactly what it sounds like, never ending, and every car on the train leads to a brand new world. Every passenger on the train Train receives a number that changes based on self-improvement, revolving around their own particular problems. If they actually wanted to play this straight, the Infinity Train can work thematically as Pibby confronts her own internal struggles. Maybe her need for an over-optimistic attitude, even when things have really gone to shit. I can relate, Pibby. As for fan service and playing up the horror aspect of both Infinity Train and Pibby, there's plenty of gruesome, nightmare-inducing atrocities that roam the locomotive. That, when met with the darkness, could make for some really intense television. I'm sweating bullets just thinking about it. Anyways, please watch Infinity Train. Billy and Mandy is not only a beloved Cartoon Network classic, but it's another show that's had numerous crossovers, mainly in the form of cameos, but there's outliers. The series also plays into the world of horror and the occult, so there's a lot they could do with the characters and the setting of Evansville. I imagine Grimm's scythe is one of the most powerful weapons in the Cartoon Network multiverse, so Pibby getting her hands on it could change the tides. But hey, Malera the cat being a parody of Disney villains could have her own arc where she caves into her evil tendencies and steals the scythe for herself, causing everything to spiral further out of control. Imagine Haas Delgado as the last man standing, going out in a blaze of glory instead of succumbing to the darkness. Imagine a corrupted Fredburger. I think a part of my inner child would just die inside, more than it already has. With all that being said, I definitely have some honorable mentions. Robot Jones, Villainous, Generator Rex. But there's really only one other show that I think makes perfect sense to be included in this apocalypse. And that is... Yeah, pretty scary, right? Teen Titans Go has a rocky history of Cartoon Network fans, but that's exactly why I think its inclusion in Pibby makes sense. Aside from Teen Titans Go already having its own impressive amount of crossovers underneath its belt, its weird legacy on the network definitely earns it a spot as a show that has all of its characters corrupted and chasing down Pibby. Hell, with Teen Titans Go being a reboot, how reboots function in the lore of Pibby could be explored. Maybe reboots are a byproduct of the darkness, or they're a double-edged sword, a cure to the darkness that transforms a world and its inhabitants into something that's barely recognizable. They could also fit in some meta humor about Teen Titans Go's dominance over the schedule for the past few years, but that might be beating a dead horse. Either way, you know the second you see this smug little face on screen, the viewers at home are gonna get scared for a whole nother reason. And that about wraps up my list, but as always, I wanna know what you guys think. What shows do you wanna see in Pibby? What about those shows, its world, and its characters make it an interesting match for Pibby? Let us know in the comments down below, or tweet your thoughts over at Roundtable Vids. And for more of my own thoughts, you can find me at Fox. We're also on Instagram. Help the Roundtable grow by either becoming a member of this channel or supporting us over at Patreon. Link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. See ya!